Matthew Stuckey here from Verity Baptist Church, Philippines. Just giving you a quick missionary update. For the month of September, we totaled 764 salvations between our churches and ministries. And we're coming in towards the end of the rainy season, which we're excited about. There's not really any holidays in September or really October. They start hitting pretty heavy in November and December, which is good timing because the rain should be less. So it's a great time to go soul winning. We often get a lot of people saved during that time of year. And anyways, those 764 salvations between our churches, which is a good total. Lots of zealous soul winning. Recently, we've had 50-plus soul winners soul winning in Manila, which with a lack of vehicles, we're trying to make some changes, and we are making some changes so we can reach kind of new areas. So it's a good problem to have, too many soul winners. So that's great. And anyways, some of the highlights for the month of September. I visited Verity Baptist Church, Bicol, in the beginning of September with one of my friends from our church in Pampanga. And we flew down, and Bicol is a long distance away. It's a little bit too far to drive. You can drive it, but it could take 10 hours. So we decided to fly, and we were with the church for several days. We had 21 baptisms. We had a record attendance, so things went very well at the church. They're doing great things down there. If you have any questions about the church, the location, time, and stuff like that, you can message me, and I'll give you the details. And, overall the trip went great. Besides the great attendance and baptisms, some of the highlights just on time of fellowship is we went to the Mayan volcano, and that was a great time. It's the closest I've ever been to a volcano. It's a beautiful sight. It kind of reminded me growing up in West Virginia just because you saw mountains everywhere, which is not really something you see as much in Manila and at least the part of Pampanga that we're in. And so it's very beautiful. One of the highlights in Bicol is the sili ice cream, which is basically spicy ice cream and basically ice cream with peppers. And it sounds very strange if you've never had it before. Honestly, it was the best tasting thing I've ever had in my life. And what takes place is when you eat the ice cream, it is sweet at first, and then a few seconds later, you'll feel the spiciness. But it's kind of one of those things you think of like ginger spice or cinnamon spice, where the spice actually enhances the flavor, and it's kind of hard to explain. But basically, you take a bite of the ice cream, and it will be sweet at first, and then all of a sudden you get the spiciness, and then when you take another bite, the sweetness kind of gets rid of the spiciness, but then the spiciness comes back. But it's not like spicy as in painful spicy, but it really enhances the flavor. It's really hard to explain, but if you go to Bicol, you got to go to the Colonial Grill and try that out. I mean, it was fantastic. It's very unique. I've never tasted anything quite like that, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I say it's the best tasting thing I've had, because it's so unique. But, I mean, it was really fantastic. You should definitely check it out. But also the Mayan volcano was just absolutely beautiful. We had a great time of fellowship there. I consider volcanoes to be the most magnificent natural disaster, just for the simple fact that it's literally like hell on earth. Lawanangapoy, as the Bible says, lake of fire. And so, obviously it wasn't, exploding while we were there, but just being that close to such a massive potential natural disaster is incredible. So that was a great time in our trip to Bicol. And also one of the highlights for the month is I went to a wedding in Pangasinan. I officiated a wedding for like-minded brethren. And I got to preach the gospel to over 100 people at one time. And the gospel was a Taglish gospel presentation. And many people talked about it that were workers. We heard reports that they're saying they were kind of surprised because I officiated the service in English, and then I switched to speaking in Tagalog. And it caused people to really pay attention. I don't think they were expecting that, but it went really well, and people talked about how it really made a lot of sense. They hadn't thought of those things before, and they understood everything I was saying. So hopefully people got saved there. I don't count salvations when preaching to a big crowd such as that, but hopefully at the very least it planted a lot of seeds, I'm sure. So that was a great opportunity. It was a great time. Other than that, in our churches, we had our chess tournaments in September in Manila and Pampanga. And so this is going to become a yearly event now. We've had chess tournaments before, but we're just going to kind of make it a yearly event in September. It's a great time for fellowship events because there's a lack of holidays during that time, and it can be kind of rainy. But we had a great time at the event. People were really paying attention, especially towards the ending matches and everything. Great job by everyone. People are very good at chess here. Chess is very common in the Philippines. And I had a passive interest in the U.S. I knew how to play, but didn't really memorize openings and systems and things like that. Coming down to the Philippines, though, when I first came, it's just like, it just doesn't cut it. It's not good enough. You have to actually, have real strategies and things like that. So I enjoy it as a hobby now, and it was a lot of fun having the tournaments. We'll have it again next September. And the sermon I want to highlight for the month was the sermon at Bicol. The recording of it is not going to be as good as some of our other recordings, the audio. We posted it, but what makes Verity Baptist different than other Baptist churches? And a lot of churches claim to be Baptist, but they are a lot different than Verity Baptist Church is in Sacramento or in the Philippines, just with the style of church and the preaching and the doctrine and things such as that. So overall, things are going great. We have a lot of events coming up. Toward the end of the year, it gets busy. We have our Children's Day coming up at the end of October, which is going to be a big event. And we also have our church anniversaries in Manila and Pampanga in November. And, of course, then we got the Christmas season. So a lot going on, and things are going very well. Just continue to pray for ministry. Thank you, and God bless.